I've had people on here, postbiotics, prebiotics, right? Showing different ways of doing it. For the average person, they're like, okay, I can't get my PhD in just like biotics, and what's out there. It just seems like a lot. Everything sounds good to me in some ways. More is better. This one has 10 billion CFUs versus 50 billion,
Right.
where does someone start with that, with trying to understand, well, what are the postbiotics, like what are the pre or any biotics that I should be taking as a supplementation?
Oh, that's a really good question. So, I mean, I am personally pretty science-based. Like all our protocols are evidence-based on like different studies that are taking into account hopefully someone's, genetics, toxic burden, and what their microbiome is composed of. And, supplements, some people need nothing. Like
Right.
it can be just a mindset, get your HRV up. That means actually spend time with yourself without all the dopamine and distractions and like we were talking about and delusions and heal, not necessarily heal, but get centered, learn about yourself. Not necessarily muck up old trauma, but just know like, okay, hey, there's nothing broken. Our mindset, even with my clients, I, have tried to have integration with them. Like, you're not broken. We're doing these to kind of optimize because you're already great. You already survived. You're not dead. Okay. You're not dead. You don't have cancer. You didn't die from like 4 different cancers or metastases. Like, hey, you're not dead. Okay. So we're just working to optimize if they're willing and open to think of it that way. And really, I love the peptides. Those are the best postbiotics. So guess what this makes? They make peptides when they're happy, healthy, fed. They have to get fed. So you either feed them mucus off your gut lining, and if you're healthy, you have plenty of it. Okay, let's say you're not so healthy, you're eating a crap diet, or even you're eating the best diet, but because of the presence of, overwhelming parasites, long haul SARS-CoV-2 virus running around or spike protein running around, let's say stress, which, mold is also very stressful. Maybe they're still living in it, or they had past exposures from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, whatever, but still in their meridians of their lungs and their gut. And so you got to move some of those mycotoxins out. It's helpful. I love Vikings, like all, Northern hemisphere, they love their saunas. They
Yeah, they really do it well, huh?
Japanese, Vikings or warriors, right? Like they do their saunas every day. Like, and studies show that they are extending their lifetime doing that. Well, how? Because they're detoxing every freaking potential toxin that may have come across their radar. But we don't, not everyone has access to that necessarily. Thankfully, I think a lot of gyms have it now. But you have to find a sauna also that doesn't have mold. Like I've now met colleagues and friends, they didn't know there was a leak, and then there was mold, and they were getting worse, and they didn't know why. So it's like, all these caveats, right?
It's the caveat of you're sweating and introducing a lot of moisture into an area, allowing it to cool and stay that. It's like you're sweating and creating a problem while doing it, right? In the sauna, if you don't clean it properly, if you don't do this.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I kind of did it the wrong way. I got super excited about it when I joined some places that had sauna, but I didn't do binders, and I knew I had a mold exposure a year earlier. And it's like, okay, then I was just redistributing it. And some people think, oh yeah, they're great but they are, dealing with certain chronic conditions, but they're not doing binders. So I did, my standard binders, and then that was great. Like I could actually, I should have done more testing. So testing is good, but not every, some people have SNPs, especially the really so-called healthy ones. They can get by with a lot. Their SNPs don't allow detox. Maybe they don't sweat very much. Maybe their CYP1A/B or, other cytochrome P450 system in their gut or liver. We have, several, detox systems. One is the gut, because the flora literally will detox for us. But we have CYP phase 1 and 2 in the liver. They have certain SNPs that don't release toxins, or they're, adipose, or wherever the storage forms of different toxins are, don't easily release. So we have to provocate. Schumacher and many other protocols, they have really, really great provocation protocols. Like if we're trying to get the mercury out, we got to do some chlorella and cilantro, get the mercury out. Don't use binders during that time, and see what comes out with mold. Same thing, glutathione 1 gram a day, sauna every day, and then collect the urine. And again, no binders for a week. Let's see what shows up, because these people, if you didn't do the provocation, they'll look like they're completely healthy. And that's completely not true. Nobody is.
Yep.
you provocate, then you'll see the body burn. Is it perfect? No, because our bones store stuff that's not going to release on these provocation protocols,
Yes.
and who knows, because of, SNPs and variants, people get some hidden reservoirs, which was good for people who moved to like mountainous areas that were devoid of minerals. Like ApoE4 is actually enriched in like Tibetan mountain people
Hmm.
needed the minerals. They were away from mineral rich like seafood, seaweed,
Right.
and yeah, sea minerals. So they got enriched for iodine and really critical minerals. But then they if they come to modern world, they get enriched with all the industrial minerals too, which are, are heavy metals, mercury, arsenic,
Hmm.
lead, and yeah, uranium, all of them. Yeah, so it's interesting to look at genetics. Like there is something about it. Like some people do great with more, carnivore diets. Some people do great with more plant-based. I'm ApoE2, E3. Like I'm very good with plant-based, but I do need to have my B vitamins because I have a bunch of MTRR, MTHFR. I need the methylfolates. So I do need my liver and, and chicken and red meat.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so important to know thyself when you're talking about these things and not just, listen to any piece of information, just take it and run with it because in knowing yourself and where you are, that gives you the best ability to then personalize to you and understand what's best for you, right? Like we talk about detoxification, and it's so important. But there are so many different ways to go about it and understanding who you are, what type of detoxifier you are, right? There are different reactional modes you can even look at,
Mhm.
your different types going to traditional Chinese medicine. Are you more of a fire earth, like, do you
Yeah.
detoxify well with it? Are you able to push? I know there are these different reactional modes, and they say those are a little bit genetic and kind of predisposed. And those people that could drink all night, even when they're older, wake
Right.
up, go to work. Whereas like
Yeah.
others have a few drink, next day it's over,
Oh,
and
yeah.
could
Yeah.
barely think and just so there, of
Yeah.
course, are the genetic predispositions to everything, and then the epigenetics and our actions that we must take around
Right.
that to be our best. And
Right.
and so many people get caught up on, what's the perfect way to detox and do that. Do you feel that there are, beyond just the looking at the saunas, do you think there are certain detoxification protocols, aspects, and supplements we should all be using?
Yeah, and, I'm very like agnostic, even though I make supplements, I'm very like personalized. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think there are seasons. Yeah, I
Yep.
think there are seasons. And it is like you mentioned, like it's good to know thyself because there's some you know, SNPs I look at like for the gut. Some are like dentin 1, they're like candida markers, and there's a host of them. And I have like FUT2,
Mm,
negative homozygous. So like, well, it depends on where you are looking in the body, but there's several I have either red or yellow. So homozygous or heterozygous. So I need more bifido longum. Like my body, it adapted to something where I have better viral defenses. Like for a lot of FUT2, if they were HIV positive, they are not going to turn into the disease or AIDS. Like they're long time like suppressed actually for virus. And same with norovirus, which used to kill people. Like it was
mm,
maybe still does on cruise ships. All the immunocompromised elderly or babies. So we're protected. So they're, all these adaptations, they're adaptations, they're protections for certain ecosystems and ecological niches. But then in the modern world with a like fiber devoid diet, okay, I'm going to get hit more. It likely emerged because the diet was really rich in prebiotics.
yeah.
So then it could emerge and it didn't hit those people, and then they got protection from norovirus and other viral viruses. Same with even B27, HLA-B27 for ankylosing spondylitis. It's hugely protective for hepatitis B and HIV. Not that that should be tested or anything in real time.